In fact, the Jags were 5-18 in their last 23 games. They also struggled mightily in games decided by 7 points or less, going 2-10 this season in those one-possession games. Dougie P's tallest task was developing Trevor Lawrence into an elite quarterback. However, Trevor was consistently inconsistent and has been plagued by injuries down the stretch of the last 2 seasons. The offense has not had an identity. As for the Jaguars defense, despite hiring Ryan Nielsen, it still was one of the worst in the NFL. Here's Khan on why he made the decision to fire Doug Pederson.
If our defense would improve, get to the middle of the pack. We were, what, 2-10 this year? I mean, how many of those games, we could win? And I think the schemes on offense just being less predictable, I think, we could be more productive on offense. And we have the ability through the draft coming up and salary cap to be able to, use that.
Now back to Trent Baalke. Since he took over as general manager in November of 2020 after Khan fired Dave Caldwell, his draft picks have been questioned by many. Since 2021, Baalke has selected 38 players and only 9 have become full-time starters. He's also responsible for one of the most disappointing free agents classes this past offseason. So what are the players saying about Doug Pederson being fired? We continue our live team coverage with Ashley Gonzalez. Ashley's live outside of Everbank Stadium. And Ashley, you spoke with players earlier today. What do they have to say about their head coach being dismissed?
Well, Chris, first of all, the vibe inside of that locker room was a feeling of fate being accepted. We knew pretty early on that this team was probably not going to win the division and for sure not going to head to the playoffs. So this season was a slow burn, and that's something that these players wanted to put in the past. But in reference to Doug Pederson, another thing they were talking about was reflecting on what went wrong, and of course, head coach Doug Pederson being fired.
When you don't win, there's changes that come from in all areas, coaching, management, and the players. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of changes moving forward, based on us not getting the job done. And it's unfortunate. It's been a great 3 years playing for Doug.
Everybody had to buy in. From the national championship team I was on, it's a championship team. Everybody was just all bought in and on the same level, and that goes for players and coaches. I definitely thought it was buy-in, but you could definitely tell it was a little drop off, especially on that little stretch, the losing stretch we had. I want to say it was like 6 games.
When you're looking for a coach, I feel that someone who can, that guys rally around, that guys, can build consistent winning through culture and those type of things. But also, someone who, X's and O's wise can put us in a position to go out there and be successful.
Well, we know one thing for sure. They're ready to put this season behind them. And we have the Jaguars' opponents for the 2025 season. And the Jags have their work cut out for them. Reporting live, I'm Ashley Gonzalez, First Coast Sports.
Tonight, a closer look at Doug Pederson's tenure as the Jags head coach. He went 9-8 the first 2 seasons and finished 4-13 this season and had an overall record of 22-29. And we noticed an interesting pattern for Pederson in his final 3 seasons as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach. 2 9-win seasons followed by a 4-win season. While the losing season created low morale amongst fans and the community, local businesses are also seeing a direct impact. Our Christina Burgess continues our team coverage. She's outside a local sports merch store where they're saying the Jags' lack of success is impacting their bottom line.
The owner here at Sports Mania tells me that he's only had a handful of customers inside of his store today, and not many of them are here to buy Jags merch. The impact of the Jags' losing season is going far beyond the field. It's impacting his store and his employees. The owner, Matthew Smith, tells me sales have plummeted by over 70% this season, and it's a result of the Jaguars struggling on the field. With the season now officially over, Sports Mania is already looking to the future, but hoping for a much better outcome next year. He's cutting back on inventory, ordering merchandise week by week, so he's not left holding too much stock if the team doesn't improve.
The losing has a trickle down. It's a domino effect here with us, and we've stacked our dominoes up big time, and it feels like this wind that's blowing right now outside is blowing all of our dominoes down. We don't stand a chance.
And Smith tells me that the Jacksonville Jaguars merch that is left on the shelves will be staying there until the next season for customers to buy. He just hoped the team has a better season. In Jacks Beach, Christina Burgess, First Coast News on your side.
Jaguar fans, well, they're grading the organization from top to bottom. Shaz Pirani continues our live team coverage. Shaz, show us the report card.
Yeah, Chris, after wrapping up my first full season of covering the Jaguars, I have realized one thing. Duval Nation, regardless of rain, shine, cold, hot, wins, losses, London or USA, they will back their Big Cats. Now, after an atrocious season like this, 4-13, when there were so many high expectations, who better than Jags fans to grade what the season was? You're the professor or the teacher. We're going to do a little report card, all right? First of all, what grade are you giving the team as a whole? Players, staff, coaching, the environment, the season. What grade are you giving as a whole?
It's not one of those situations where you had to think about it. As much as you love them, especially the players you can tell I'm talking about, it's an F.
Like a B. I think we're talented. We got players that would be starters on other teams, where in the past we didn't. The problem is motivation, coaching. Love Doug Pederson, but he's lost the team.
The players, I feel like Brian Thomas Jr. has given us a little spark, right? Like, how have the players felt for you this year?
Brian Thomas Jr., A++, grading him on a triple curve because he's outshining everyone so much. Mac Jones has really made the best with what he's working with. I think that everyone's done great considering the circumstances. Everyone has their plays, their shine out moments. So I think individually all players, they have their A moments, but collectively their A's are not synchronized.
Coaching staff. I want to know about your thoughts on Doug, the front office, the coaching staff. What grade are you giving them specifically?
Give the offensive coordinator, I'd give him an F. I'd fail the offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator, got to get an F. Does the head coach need to go? Probably. And the general manager, I see talent, but I've seen some big misses. And if the general manager hired this defensive coordinator, he also needs to go. And when you have somebody go to the owner and say, this is the most talented team the Jaguars have ever had, and I've seen them all, and it is not, that gets you fired.
Yeah, Alan Weldon, one of the first 10,000 original ticket season holders here for the Jaguars. Probably upset when he woke up this morning seeing Trent Baalke still on the Jaguars payroll. But hey, a little change is better than no change. It gives Jags fans just something to look forward to as we head into this brand new offseason. Reporting at Everbank Stadium, Shaz Pirani, First Coast Sports.
And our live coverage, team coverage, continues later at 7. Our NFL insider, James Coleman, will lend his thoughts on Doug Pederson being fired and the future of the franchise.